Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing tonight on Transformational Thursday? And yes, this is something that we have not done in a very, very long time here at Bringing Humanity Together, but that's to have a video segment done on LinkedIn Live, also on our YouTube channel and on Facebook. So, good evening, everyone. Chris Berryman here, Coalition Builder and founder of Bring Humanity Together. And this is going to be another place and space that we're going to have a great and engaging conversation because today, literally, I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen, the conversation that we had today was just so good on LinkedIn audio. I said to myself, we got to do another part two to this. So we are going to come to you live tonight on Transformational Thursday. And the topic we'll be talking about today, and it's been literally the theme of this week's LinkedIn audio calls, is how can we measure human value in a business environment from a place of leadership? And today's topic we'll be talking about is how can leaders and even managers become a fiduciary leader in our business environment today. So that's what I want to bring to the table today, because like I said, the conversation that we had this morning was just out of the park, and it was just so rich in dialogue, and it was really thought provoking. And I said to myself, we just can't end it here. We got to have another call and everything. So that's why I wanted to bring that opportunity to each and every single one of you. And like I said, we're just so humbled and honored you guys take the time out of your day or night, whenever that might be, whether to be nationally or internationally, because hopefully there'll be a few people from our international community groups here on LinkedIn and also here at Bringing Humanity Together to join us tonight. But like I said, I was just so enthralled with the response and the engagement with everyone. That's like, I gotta have a part two to this. So that's why we're doing the part two, because I have a traditional job to go tomorrow, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make a LinkedIn audio in the morning. So that's why we're probably also doing another call tonight in lieu of that. Because again, I kid you not, these LinkedIn audio calls have been going fantastically well. And it's all due to each and every single one of you. So hopefully, the more people that will get engaged, come to the calls, have those really curious driven conversations with each other, I truly believe it's going to be a great added value to everyone in and of itself. Because again, if we can show that a little bit of curiosity into something, then I truly believe we can get to know something even more so than what we probably currently do now. Because at least like what my father said to me at a very young age, he said, Chris, if you can learn one new thing a day, then you've had a productive day. And I'm a big believer in that. So like I said, I just want to get right down into it. And like I said, we'll be waiting for some people to join in and everything. And like I said, I just truly believe this conversation is one to be had. Because like I said, the conversations all this week has just been really great, because we've talked about trust. We kind of led into integrity, ethics, morals, values. Um, like I said, how can we measure even human value in a business environment and even from a place of leadership? And we want to hear from all of you on that tonight, because I truly believe in one way, shape, matter, form, ladies and gentlemen, we have now are turning the corner that now money is not going to be at the root of everything that we do. It's literally, I kid you not, it's a natural byproduct of who we are. And the reason why I say that is, it's again, it's not what we do that matters. It's who we are that matter. Because again, we can do stuff all day long. But if we don't know who we are and what we stand for and what we even truly believe in or even dream in, then we're just going to be keeping up with the Joneses. We'll kind of play that rat race kind of game and just be able to say, I'm going to do just enough to not even get fired, or maybe just enough just to scrape by. But who wants to just scrape by anymore? And I truly believe, ladies and gentlemen, when we add that human value component into our organizations today to such an extent that we can't even measure their very value, even through the prism of money, it's just going to change the game fundamentally, not only in an organizational structure, but also from a culture uh, kind of dynamic of that how you can even comprise your culture, and even from that culture driven dynamic, because if you're money focused only, it's only going to be focused on the money. But if you're truly culture focused and people centered, and you're intentionally doing that from an intentionally learning kind of dynamic and community driven dynamic, that everyone that comprises that very culture inside their organizations today, literally, I kid you not, will change not only their behavior, but how they work with each other, how they communicate with each other, how they even train one another. Because again, I'll go back to what John C. Maxwell says, a lot of his teachings and books, that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. It's not a title, it's not a rank, it's not even a position. It's influence. And I dare say, even how we even show up to that influence matters in and of itself. So if you guys want to join the call tonight, we would love to hear from you guys. And we can take up to 10 people tonight, and probably the many people around the world watching. Please put your comments in the comment section, whether it be on Facebook, YouTube, or on our LinkedIn Live, on our business profile at Bring Humanity Together. So we would love to hear from you guys. And here is the link that you can join the call. It's going to be right there, and it's already in the comment section of all three platforms. If you guys want to join in, we would love to see you here tonight. Like I said, I was just truly inspired by the opportunity to talk to so many great and amazing people. And someone's already saying, hi, Chris. So let's see. I'll go over to our LinkedIn page and see who is actually joining in today. Hopefully, they'll show up their LinkedIn profile here in just a second. So there's about 5 people, or now 4 people watching our stream live. Well, hello there. Glad to see you here. If you want to, please click that link that's already in the comment section of today's call. We would love to see you here. So please join us. We would love to see you here tonight. And like I said, the call that we had on our LinkedIn audio was just truly amazing. There was like 30 people that signed up for the call, and probably over half of that showed up today. So that was still a pretty good number of people, but they resonated with the very topic that was at hand. And I know sometimes not a lot of people can consume that content at that very given hour. And that's the great thing about LinkedIn, is when you do put out a LinkedIn event, you can still have people engage even within the comment section. And that's what they're meant to do. And I kid you not, if you guys leave your comments, tag with your LinkedIn profile, if it's your Facebook profile, or whatever the case may be, we would love to hear from you. And again, like I said, go to that link tonight, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook or on our Bringing Humanity Together business profile and watching this live. And like I say, go click here, and we will love for you to join the call as we are doing that. So again, and good evening, Brian. Glad to see you here too as well. So glad to see you here. So again, we would love for you to come join the show tonight, and we would love for you to be here. But like I said, it's been really a honor and a privilege to host these LinkedIn audio calls as we have, and it's been really great to have them. And I just truly believe, like I said, when people like you guys take time out of your day and to engage in, it's Janelle. Hello, Janelle. How you doing? Glad to see you here. Come join us, Janelle. We would love for you to join us tonight. And Johanny, glad to see you here too as well. Like I said, you can join, like I said, with this link, and I'm going to send it to all of you guys. So if you guys could join in, it would be great because we would love to see you guys. So I'm going to reply to you guys right now. So here's the link to all of you guys. Come join us. We would love to hear from you guys tonight, and I'm glad that you guys are all here. So here's the links to all of you. And Janelle, I wish that Louise could join us, but she's late night there in London, so I don't think she'll be coming. Hopefully, she'll watch the replay, and hopefully she'll catch this, and we'll tag her in it and everything. Okay, good. But like I said, click that link, Janelle, that I just sent you in the reply, and we would love to have you join in tonight on the program. So please click that link I just sent you. I just responded to you on LinkedIn. So please do that, and that'll be greatly appreciated. Same thing with you, Brian, and same thing with you, Johanny, too, as well. We would love for you to be on the program tonight. But like I said, it was such an amazing sight to see, to where as many people that was actually on the LinkedIn audio call that we had today was truly engaged and truly really pouring into one another with some great thoughts, some great ideas, and some great words of wisdom. And again, it all starts off when people are just willing to share what's on their minds in and of itself. And Lady Drew, glad to see you here too as well. Because again, I actually believe, like I said, that leaders and managers, I actually believe, can become a fiduciary leader in business today. And the simplest reason it could be is because, again, what's going to be the next currency of humanity is going to be rooted in value and not money. And when you showcase that value to people to such an nth degree and everything like that, and yes, I'm hoping Louise will watch that replay. Yes, we'll make sure that happens in and of itself. Because, like I said, when we bestow that value to people to the nth degree, that it can transform their lives, get them to where they want to go, not only in business but also in life itself. It's really transformative. And a lot of people was really talking about tonight. I mean, earlier today, actually, about how ethics play a part in that. It was kind of two dynamics that was actually being posed to as well. One was about stewardship, and the other one was about the dynamic of what actual uh, fiduciary really meant. And Tracy is on with us today, and she was actually on our show earlier today too as well. Good evening, Tracy. How you doing this evening? You're on mute.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. Thank you. Oh, you're having a beer?
No, I'm having a Dr. Pepper. It's
Really?
not happy hour. Even though we can
Okay.
drink our
Okay.
adult beverage, we probably could do that. But no, I'm not that kind of person. I won't do that.
You sure you really have Dr. Pepper in the bottle, not something else?
No, that's Dr. Pepper. It is a Dr. Pepper. Pepper. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it's
Okay.
Dr. Pepper. See, there you go. Dr. Pepper. Right there.
You
Uh,
know, kids at school, they bring their water bottle. They might
yeah,
drink
my
something
wife's got a
else.
water bottle. She drinks water like nobody's business and everything like that. So she does that. But I know you are on our call today, Tracy, and we were talking about the definition between fiduciary and stewardship and everything like that. And tell everyone what you kind of saw on today's LinkedIn audio call and how truly engaging it really was.
Fiduciary, stewardship. You are interested in certain responsibilities you need to carry out. You need to take care of the money. You need to take care of the people, that you're supposed to be responsible for, and that's a lot of trust. As an adult, as an employee or employer, that's a lot of things, calling you for. That's a huge financial burden. As a company owner, you have to make profits. You need to pay your people. As a family head of a household, you need to generate enough income. You need to pay for all the expenses. And as a friend of someone who's trusting you to do certain things, you need to honor that trust. You need to deliver your promise, and that's something I have this takeaway on. At different levels, you have certain responsibility. You need to have the ability to carry out, have to have the determination to get the job done. Also, you need to have the awareness that you need to be a person that's capable of doing that, because you have to be healthy, strong, and able before you can even honor that self-care,
Mm-hmm.
before you do anything else for other people. And I learned that every single time I take the airplane ride. They remind you, make sure you put things on yourself to put the vest over you before you help others. And that's super important, because sometimes we jump onto something without even thinking, and that's not good. It's going to lead into a disaster oftentimes. But we do that, we repeat the same mistake every day, because we will
Right.
plan well, and we are not really uh, ready. Yeah, we were not prepared oftentimes.
Absolutely. And see, like I was really getting into in our LinkedIn audio call today is, again, we did mention about ethics, we did mention about values, we did mention about alignment and agreement, and even that very intention too as well, because a lot of us don't really see that fiduciary side, but it's only, like you said today, Tracy, only relegated to the financial field. And I truly believe, Tracy, if we bring that mindset and those principles and that kind, I won't say it's a code of conduct kind of thing, but it's literally a state of being kind of dynamic to leaders and managers across this world, then the whole business dynamic that's been laid out before us will literally be in a transformative space. Because if they can do that in the financial world, the next then question becomes, why can't we do that in our regular business world, whether to be in retail, whether to be in restaurants, whether to be in construction, wherever that might be. And I truly believe, and I'm a firm believer on it, that if leaders and managers in any professional field on this planet can have that fiduciary mindset to such a degree, it becomes literally a state of belief and a state of literally of who they are, then maybe just in a brief moment in time, those businesses can be transformed because they are willing to, again, be in service of the very clients that they have before them. Because think about it, the client is not also the one that you serve and help people in your community, like your Uber drivers are always driving your food towards you and everything like that, so they're your end client when you get to the door. But think about it, the very same client that you're looking at in and of itself is the one that actually is working with you at that very same time. So if you are that delivery driver and you are from Joe's Plumbing and you got to take a part to another plumber that's across the city, you're still that very client and everything. And I just truly believe, like I said, when that is being done, that you really value them for their time, effort, and everything. And again, if we do bring that kind of mindset, that if we are after the best interest of those very people that we're entrusted to serve and be of service to, not only from the internal perspective, but also from the outward perspective too, as well, I truly believe it changes the game, Tracy.
I agree. That's totally right. You on all in all aspects, you're right. I agree to that 100%. And then that's something everybody has to be working toward, and it's not easy to do. Action speaks louder than words, but at least you should have that awareness, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we can work toward it. Yeah, that's why we're having this call.
And Johanny says yes. So Johanny, definitely would love to hear from you. Please click that link, Johanny. We would love to hear from you tonight too, as well. And again, when we do have literally that fiduciary environment that's across the board, and think about this too, Tracy. You don't even have to be a manager to even have that fiduciary mindset. Because think about it, if you're people that, let's say, is in accounting and you have 10 people that works in accounting, you want all 10 people in one way, shape, matter, or form to have that fiduciary mindset in mind. Because if you're wanting to get more value for the company and you want to get more value for yourself, sometimes the way you do that is you pour into the very people that's around you. So you're just literally, you might be one of 10, but when you have actually of the mindset of 10 of 10 is better than 1 than 10, then the best way you do that is you every single day. And I wish that she was here tonight. In fact, it was Louise, because no, Janelle, I believe she even, I think you even said it, is if you can even have an impact on 3 people each day, think about it. Of those 10 people that you have, and if you could reach those 3 people every 3 days, then you pour into that exponentially, not only through accounting, but then it goes into marketing, then it goes into operations, then it goes into strategic planning, it goes into uh, the realty side of things when they're looking to buy land and everything like that. It goes so far and wide, because again, if you set the example for others to follow, it will be there. And Charles, like I said, just click the link. It's already in the comment section of tonight's call. So just click that link, Charles, and we would love for you to join us. Because, like, again, we have taken the prism of money and used it, and I'm just using it as a general term here. It's kind of almost like a means to an end. We can say, hey, we're going to throw X amount of money into this to really get the outcome that we're looking for and everything. But what if that wasn't not really the case in and of itself? Maybe the better case to have is maybe is we don't throw money at it, but we pour into people in such a degree that we recognize what they're doing is no different than us. We're trading our time, our energy, our wherewithal, and what we do on a day-to-day basis in lieu of that very said money. I get that, and I understand that. But what if we was to take it another step further, even from a fiduciary mindset kind of dynamic, that where we're not beholden by the very money, but we understand the workings of money, but do it in a way that, again, value supersedes the very money that not only do we pay them, but they also what they give back to us in return. Because again, everything can be done from a transactional state, but who wants to be done in a transactional way anymore? If we get it to a place of a transformative world to where it can be transformative And again, recognize where everyone sits in the grand scale themes, because some people only will only want to have money in their life, and if that's the case, if they want to be ruled by money, then let them say, "Hey, I want a paycheck. This is what I want. Pay me that money," and I'm okay with that. But they, but like I said, over time, Tracy, I truly believe if they see that being done intentionally, that you are literally in their best interest, day in and day out, time after time, over time. And again, what does the banking industry say when you put your money into, let's say, a savings account? You get what's called compound interest. And that interest grows over time to such a degree that you actually get more money than what you put in originally because of the rate of return that you get. So that's another thing that we didn't discuss, and I was thinking about today when we're on our LinkedIn audio call today, is what is the actual ROI that we give people from that place of value each and every single day, and how do we even measure that? So that's another thing we got to bring into the mix too as well.
That's interesting when you talk about ROI. We often think that's a financial term, but not necessarily financial. Everything you put into your work, into your life, it has a return. And I would say kids are not good investments because we don't get return, but we do. We get return every day. Like my teenage boys, 11 and 13 years old. I know there are lots of work, but at the same time, it's super rewarding as a parent. I learn from them every single day. Just the thing they do, the words they speak. I learn technology from them. I learn their intuition. I learn from their non-judgmental mind every day, and this is super important. This is not the value you can measure in the monetary term. That's the things that's invaluable to me. You really, like I remember my mom used to say, you will never understand me until you have your own kids. And I do understand her better now because I have my own kids and they are growing every day. And also when you say to encourage employees, encourage coworkers to realize their potential, I think there's no better word than this. True leaders can inspire people to reach their full potential, and that's a true leadership. And when I was in the hotel business for roughly 2 years, we used to have this thing, management skill called manage by walking around. We literally have front office manager, food and beverage manager walking around their operation, telling their employees, their subordinates, something they do right. Just make sure they are appreciated, and they know, instead of picking up in something they did not do right, they encourage them. Just even the little thing they did, they are encouraged. Just something, put a smile on their face and make sure they are appreciated. They will be encouraged to do better every day. And that's something I picked up in hotel business, because you want to have employees be friendly to your guests. First, you need to be friendly to them first. Treat them as individual. Somebody is being valued. Of course, all this positivity will reciprocate, and they will pay it forward. And that's something I learned from the hotel business. And everybody think that we always wear a big smile. No, not necessarily. A lot of time we try to be nice, but if you have something happen at home and you have some personal issues, that's just so hard to fake a smile. Yeah, that happens all the time. But people can tell if you are faking it or you are genuine to show your hospitality to them. This is very important in travel business as a whole. You travel agencies, hotel, restaurants, you see this person coming in very cheerful, of course you will feel the same way too, right? But if you see a grumpy person, you start just thinking, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with him? And then you start questioning their ability. And that's that effect, like you said, Chris, is a ripple effect. If you start with the negativity, it's not going to be positive coming back. And that happens every day around us. And lastly, I like to say, I used to hear this from school. Okay, they always say a person who's capable, you go ahead and do it. A person who only knows how to talk about it, you teach. But is that really true? Not really. We learn from our work all the time. We think about the time I was in my hotel and also import export business. You're really working full time instead of my flexible work. Um, and now I'm pretty much a contractor. I work with almost every different industries, but I used to have this full time job, 9 to 5, and I feel oftentimes we are stationed into one place, and then you can be absent-minded because you don't want to be there. That just the fixed hours is not really good for everybody. Somebody do prefer to be flexible, like we have employees that prefer to be working in the office all the time, but at the same time we have people who just cannot sit still for that longer time. That's why companies give breaks. They recognize individual differences, and that's very good because people are different. There are never two people alike, not even twins. And recognizing that differences give them the ability to adapt and work to the best way they can. That's another way to realize their potential. Thank you.
Absolutely, 110%, Tracy. Thank you so much, Charles. Good evening, sir. How you doing this evening? You're on mute. Charles, you're on mute. Charles, unmute. Charles, you muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Now we can.
Okay, good. Okay, first the tech issue. If I come on here via Facebook, I can get closed captioning. If I come on here via LinkedIn, currently it doesn't allow closed captioning. If you can alter that, that would be awesome. Then, on your question of fiduciary responsibility, I'd love to hear Tracy's feedback on this, but in my humble opinion, uh, if we are going to be in charge of ABC Corporation and bring people on, well, we're not bringing them on as investors or co-owners. We're bringing them on as employees. Then they have a fiduciary responsibility. We are giving them some of the business's money or some of the business's equipment and telling them, we need you to do this or we need you to do that. And so I would argue that all employees therefore have a responsibility to properly manage the money or equipment we have given them for them to properly do their job within the company. And because of that, then we have to trust our employees, and our employees have to be trustworthy and honorable and use the resources we give them wisely.
Tracy, would you like to respond to that?
I agree with Charles. Yes, that's something we need to consider, and that's something I think, especially in certain industries, that's at the same time, I think when you are entrusted with the responsibilities, do delegate. One person cannot do it all. I remember when I was working with some German engineers, because I was on this long-term project working in China to promote their, I think at that time, C or E class sedans. So we were on this tour together, and I have about 3 or 4 engineers from Mercedes-Benz factory in Germany, and they came over, and because they can only speak English and German, and I was there helping them do the translation, but they have to do a presentation in front of a lot of Chinese customers. So I was the one that helping them to translate. But because they were very technical, they use a lot of terms that even when I translate that into Chinese, people have no idea what they were talking about. So then I have to bring it down into simple terms and give them some analogy. And then the engineer is like, I only spoke 1 sentence. How come you're talking for like 5 or 6 sentences? And they was looking at me, are you really translating my words? I said, yes, but I have to make sure it's delivered in a way that people understand. So, in order to make sure that they understand what I was telling the customers, I had to write down those telling, oh, this is what you said, and this term needs to have the knowledge, don't have your your technological or this expertise. They do not understand what's going on in the engine, because they want to go really specific into their technology advance with the Mercedes-Benz to make it very impressive. But on the customer, do how good this car can offer, how, just the comfort, how this maneuverability, all the things. So there's no alignment between what they offer and what the person wants to hear. So I have to bridge that up, and that's not really just translation work. And I have to talk to my agency at that time. I said, I'm not doing translation work. I'm doing the master of ceremony. I'm also doing the hosting thing. And, I need to tell the customer and the headquarter in China at that time for Mercedes-Benz, and this is not translation work. And I want to make sure that I understand. I'm not in trying to take away the German expertise, but I need to add in the value to make sure all their messages delivered into their customers and they fully understand what they're trying to say. So it was back and forth because we were in multiple locations. So the first 1 or 2 were really struggled because the Germans thinking, oh, this lady is adding a lot of things we really want to add. They want to keep super technical, super like a clean and neat the presentation technical terms. But the customer is like, what are they talking about? I don't really know. And they even showed pictures, of their design that makes no sense to a customer who's only looking for the car, not really what's inside the car. And I have to talk to them, and we had a couple discussions, and finally, we reach a compromise. They do not want to go too technical. They start with a little bit story about how they invent certain things, how they add certain features. That just could be a little bit more personal, and that can be perceived better by a regular customer, ordinary people, who really just care about tell me how to do certain things. And offering too much expertise sometimes is not really desired. And same as usually, if you are interested into a certain responsibility, either financial or non-financial terms, you really have to think about how I will carry this out in the terms that I think is suitable. Responsibility is one thing, but know-how is the other. We often just think SOPs. Okay, I just do in the step 1, 2, 3, 4, but it does not fit everywhere. It does not fit into every person. People all perceive things differently. Like when I was in a national chain, and each individual locations need to localize their own thing. For example, when I go to Asian Pacific, what they sell in KFC there? Chinese rice soups. The chickens on skewers, and they have this little like a taco type of thing with the popcorn wrapped inside with the Chinese chives. All those local flavors. KFC is not KFC anymore here. This is Kentucky Fried Chicken. They're pretty much nothing else, and coleslaw. And over there, the entire Asian Pacific, KFC already transformed into something very locally. If we are talking about food sales, they do much better job than Burger King, McDonald's. McDonald's is really not really making a lot of revenue from the food they're offering. They actually make money from the real estate, because when McDonald's comes into any place, they buy the real estate. They do not ever rent. So that's just the tailor-made fiduciary toward a specific industry, toward a certain customers, and toward your employees. That has to be personalized. This is super important to make sure you have the job done properly, efficiently. Back to you,
Thank you so much, Tracy.
Charles
Charles,
and
would,
Chris.
would you like to respond to that?
As just a couple of things. One of the things I heard from Tracy was communication, and it's crucial that we communicate. There's a cooking show I like to watch. Has just 10 episodes, but in one of the episodes, all the contestants have to make paella, and they're given like 5 different descriptions of what paella is. One of them, if you take just that description, Chinese fried rice is paella. Only if you've ever had both, they're similar, but they're definitely not the same thing. And then second thing I'd point out, because she talked about KFC over in China, somewhere over there in Asia, and I've never been to Asia yet, but I have traveled in Latin America, and if you go to McDonald's, every Latin American country has McDonald's, and all of them have the same basic menu, but they all have specific menu additions due to the country they're in. And so, like where I'm at, you can get gallo pinto, which is basically leftover beans combined as a dish at McDonald's. You can also get fried chicken, oddly enough, at McDonald's down here. But if I go up to, say, Boulder, Colorado, and try to order either, the cashier's going to give me a strange look, and the manager's going to come out and say, sorry, you can't order that.
Charles, thank you so much always for bringing food into the mix. But Janelle is finally here with us. Hello, Janelle. How are you doing today on Transformational Thursday?
It's so weird. I have like 4 different YouTube channels logins. And so I was trying to figure out the password to them. I was like, it was trying to bring me in through YouTube, but nonetheless, here I am. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Charles.
Totally normal. You are on your computer, right? Or you are on your phone?
No, I'm on my phone.
Your phone does not recognize your password? My iPhone kept everything. Otherwise, I would be trying like thousands of times.
So this is probably my 3rd or 4th iPhone. And so I'm using my Chrome as my standard
browser?
As my browser. Before, when I used to use Safari, yeah, it remembered everything. But Chrome tries to remember passwords from like my Outlook. Who is that? I can't see.
Yep. So, Janelle, what we're talking about tonight is something that was really, really deep and engaging today. I mean, actually, this morning, actually. And what we talked about is Can leaders and managers become a fiduciary leader in business today? And I want to go to you, Janelle, on that note. What shows up for you when you hear that?
Can you repeat that, Chris?
Can leaders and managers become a fiduciary leader in business today?
Yeah, you could always pour into people. Absolutely. And I believe this goes back to what something that Tracy stated, and she was talking about, her children, you know, but and I agree, and I was like thumbs up for that, Tracy, for that comment, because when you when you say the word fiduciary, you're automatically thinking it has some type of relation to a monetary value. And for me, if I have a mentor and that mentor is pouring into me the knowledge that I need for, let's say, technology, because Tracy, unlike you yourself, you have help in that area from your children. But for me, I'm trying to figure out most of this on my own. So when it comes to like things like StreamYard, I had been on a particular call before, but it wasn't like it didn't bring me into YouTube. I don't know how I was on it, but and it was a while back, so I'm not quite sure. But does that answer your question, Chris?
It does, because, see, I truly believe, Janelle, that if we keep things surprisingly simple, everyone can get it. And even though we did talk about a fiduciary being in the field of the financial industry in and of itself, and we kind of understood that, but I'm taking it to the real more important value driven dynamic of point, like you said, pouring into people, because again, you can't put a price tag on value. And when you bring that to the table, that changes the whole game in and of itself.
Mhm. So for me, I'm working with a mentor uh, through one of the programs through Military Spouse Network. Uh, and I've been working with this particular person since I believe February or March. Then we had a little bit of a hiccup because I fell offline for a while, taking care of some personal business. So, but we linked back up, and his comment to me was, "Well, I'm not sure if I can help you because your direction has has gone to the right. Like you're not your goals, because they were going to help me out with my goals, my personal professional development goals, right?
Huh?
Um, and he says, I don't really know anything about technology because I'm in healthcare. And that is the area that I truly wanted to be in. Um, Even in my HR role, I wanted to be in, and I still do desire to be in healthcare and
Hmm.
human services, because that's where I started my career.
Okay.
hmm I started in a nonprofit organization, and that's where I was at. I helped hire admin and behavioral health clinicians, and it felt right. It felt like the work that I was doing for those employees was right. It felt
Hmm.
right. It felt good for me.
And I love that, because again, I truly believe you now. You can't put a price tag on someone's value, someone's worth, someone's blood, sweat, and tears. You can never quantify that in a place of the money mindset, because we try to do that. But maybe, just maybe, if we do bring that fiduciary mindset to the human value component, I truly believe that changes everything. And Lady Drew, we'll go to you now. And Keith, glad you're joining us too as well. So I'm going to ask you that very same question, Lady Drew, that, like I said, we had that great and engaging conversation this morning on is, again, can leaders and managers become a fiduciary leader in business today? So what say you, Lady Drew?
Absolutely. As long as you do it with a passion, you're authentic about it, and you really present respect and honor, you can do anything you want to do. Life is just out there waiting for you to do it, and everything in life is waiting for you to do it as long as you do it correctly and truly show authenticity.
110%. And that's another big thing that we did talk about too as well, is that authenticity does matter, but also the intention matters, the alignment matters, also their agreement matters too as well, because if they're not in alignment, they're not in agreement, it's not going to be good for them and not even good for you, because there's no win-win-win. But if you can create that space and place with them to such a degree, you're still putting their best interest at heart first and foremost, and you're cognizant of that. And then maybe, just maybe, that if they are in alignment or agreement, or however that ever plays out, but you're still willing to take that journey with them to such a degree, Lady Drew, that if they do start in alignment and then work their way to agreement or vice versa, you're allowing that to be there, because it's almost like to a point of it's a non-negotiable kind of thing. Because again, in a fiduciary kind of dynamic, there's some things the fiduciary kind of has to do, because if they're not going to be out for the best interest of their clients, those things that they say that I can't do, they're going to end up saying, well, yes, this is really in the best interest of the client. Even though I don't want to do this, I may have to do that. But I truly believe if we was to flip the script on that and say, if this is going to be a net win for them, I say, why not do it now? Even if you still have the best interest at heart and it doesn't come out to the outcome that you both are looking towards to get, maybe then you can look back and say, maybe was it the journey in and of itself was the outcome that we're seeking? Because if you got close enough to the goal, maybe that's where it should be laid at.
I don't know why.
Well, here's another thing. I owned several businesses before I became semi-retired. You got to have clarity, you got to have understanding, and you've got to keep each other informed of every single thing that goes on. Otherwise, there's going to be some question mark, and you don't want question marks in business. If something is not going exactly the way that a client wants, let them know why it's headed the direction, and then see if both of you can come up with a better formation in order to reach the goal, or at least as close to it as possible.
Right. Well said. Well said, Lady Drew. Absolutely, 110%. So let's go over to Keith. Keith, good evening, sir. How you doing this evening on Transformational Thursday?
I am doing well. Thank you. How are you doing?
Doing well, sir. Doing well. So what's your thought when it comes to having leaders and managers becoming a fiduciary leader in business today? What say you on that?
I think we've had many great answers already. And of course, it's essential for the leaders to have that responsibility. And I think that also gives them, that recognizes them for their hard work when you're giving them the additional responsibility too, because it lets them know that they're trusted in the organization. But, typically that could be even someone like, your partners. Could be, maybe it's like the board members that you have that are collecting funds for an organization. But again, it's letting them know that they're trusted, that you trust them to not only deal with the money itself, but also that you're trusting them with the organization or company's brand management, because they're going to be out there directly representing it too. So I think they should be responsible and it's essential that they manage it properly. And then there's also um, a set of that there's criteria in there to hold them accountable. So it's not just that they're capable of doing something, but then also being able to carry it out and be checked on that too, to either promote them or give them additional responsibility or less.
And I love that, Keith. And that's really well said. But I want to go to Janelle on that note. And Janelle, do you agree or disagree with what Keith just said?
I'm sorry, I do. I do. It makes perfect sense what he said. And he started out stating that, there were so many great answers. And I think that he is absolutely going or in the right direction when it comes to leaders of our organizations, right? That we depend on that. That's what they're bringing to the table.
So, Tracy, I got to ask you that same question. Do you agree or disagree with what Keith just shared?
Yes,
Tracy?
I do. I heard you. I'm sorry. I just walked over to my phone right now. But I just thought about at one point I want to share with you. I think from my work experience, I know oftentimes we do performance review. We know the employee, but still there's a certain area we cannot measure, and we don't know if one person can handle a job 100% or not. So oftentimes it's hard to give the right responsibility to a person. You can delegate the power, the authority, but you have to be very careful knowing that person's potential. If you know that person can perform at 100%, then it's good. But you do not want to overstretch that person to 110, because you need to have that space to be safe. I often, if I know a associate or someone I'm working with has a full potential 100% for sure, I oftentimes give him or her 80%, just to have the 20% for growth. And that makes them feel like, oh, I have a potential, I need to work toward it. But if
Correct.
you are operating at 100%, you will be very exhausting, and that little space makes a huge difference. Thank you, guys.
Janelle, you want to add on to that?
No, I was just saying that when it comes to performance evaluations, Tracy was spot on with that. That it's almost never, not never, never, but you are going to have fives across the entire board. That doesn't give the employee anything to work on. That means that they are perfect just the way that they are, right? We want people to keep growing. They're not going to keep growing or wanting to grow if they see those fives all the way across the board.
So I got to ask you this then, Keith. How do we not even in the performance review kind of dynamic get again? I'll say they're partners, not employees, but get our partners in business to where they're not stagnant, but they can truly grow and thrive, even when they have that performance review. But give them that leeway to truly grow. How do we get there?
Well, the proper two-way communication, of course, so they understand where everything is clear and concise, that you level set expectations with them, and that you show them the path. So you could say, if you're getting over to here, that is when things are going to change, or whatever it may be is, but it can't just be something where you're trying to figure it out as you go along, which means it's going to lead them down a pretty dark tunnel because they're never going to be able to see the light. So you want to ensure that they have the proper self-regulation by setting those different stages for them to succeed. Outside of that, it's always, then it goes into compensation. I had a great conversation with a client today, based upon, their potential need for hiring outside sales agents, and letting them know that there's a new service that I'm going to be offering where they could do same day ACHs. And I'm like, just imagine it, that you one of your sales reps that gets approved or gets a client approved for something and you're able to pay them right away. Then they're able to get multiple new clients for you because you're able to pay them right away, which is fueling their tank. It's recognizing them, but it's also helping them become personally successful. So in this new year, it's going to be all about providing those essential fintech tools to provide support to the clients. So not only could they accept different types of payments from their customers, but then they'd be able to treat their workforce a hell of a lot better by recognizing them and paying them how they should be paid.
Well said, as always, Keith. And now we have Joan with us tonight. Hello, Joan. How are you doing tonight on Transformational Thursday?
Doing great, phenomenal. Actually, yes, I just had a nice long walk with my dogs, and I was able to come home and jump on.
So I got to pose this question for you, Jonah. I know you were on our LinkedIn audio call earlier this morning too, as well.
Right.
But we've been talking about this yet again because it was so great in our morning session. I couldn't let it go. And of course, we were talking about, can leaders and managers become a fiduciary leader in business today? What say you when you hear that?
I say that's an adjective. That was my comment this morning. I don't believe in necessarily that philosophy. I believe in I believe in just like really like taking into everyone who works for me, or if I work for them, like just as on a human level. And if they know the clear rules on what we're expecting, then it's a job. It's just a job. So treat them human, and but fiduciary, I do find that to be a bit of a adjective.
But let me ask you on that note, though, that if you do recognize it as a job, but if you really want to transform someone's life, can you say it's not necessarily a job anymore, but it could be something that you love? And if you can love
Yes,
something that you
that's what
do,
I hope to do. Yes, no, it is a job because I pay the guys who work for me, so that's a job. But I very much want to uh, be a voice of reason and a voice of kindness to whatever different people are going through. So I treat every person who works for me, and maybe because I wasn't treated exactly that way, as an individual. And so if they have like kid shit and their babysitter didn't pick up them early enough, like that's fine. Like take care of it. Take care of it. But I don't know. I don't. My people who stick with me, they do their job really well. And if they don't do their job well, it is a job. I don't know. Does that make sense?
oh, it does. It
So,
does.
so I'm just trying to get a clear understanding of what you just said. So, if they get it and they love it and they're doing it well, then great. But if they're not and they're missing marks, then what? You said it's just a job.
Then
I don't know
it's
what that
like
means.
strike one. I pay the bills around here, so yeah, it's strike one. And I really give a lot of people a lot of chances. That is 100% true.
And
Um,
that's great that you.
because
Mhm.
dang, if I have not had weird ass shit come up in my life, I'm like, yeah, I'm like on my way, and I like actually like ran over this, nail on the side of the highway, and I can't get there, and I'm really not trying to be not on time or dishonest. So I really do think people deserve a lot of chances. I think people are very individual in the way that they can contribute and the way they communicate, uh, because that's true. It's like how you grew up. Like, not everyone is going to be, you know, ballsy. Not everyone is going to be, this like type A rote worker. Not everyone is going to be the most social bug. So that's my 2 cents, anyways. Because I've lived it and I know it, and so I really try to. It's important to me to treat each person individually and give them second and third chances, and then probably not.
Well, Chris, I'm just going to interject for a second because I'm going to have to get going in a moment. But
Okay, sure, no problem.
thank you so much for your share. And I do get what you're saying, Joanne. Because I mean, in the different types of businesses I've had before in the past, it really depended on the type of people that could actually work with us. Because some of them, if they weren't on it, if they couldn't get it together, they would risk our lives. When we were doing fugitive recovery, bail bonding, all that stuff like that, if they kept making mistakes, they had to go. There was probably they had one shot probably. They made a mistake once while we're out. Okay, fine. If they did it again, they had to leave because they can get one of us killed. So it really depends on the circumstances of it. If it's doing clerical work and it's like they keep getting the same thing wrong, no one's life is at risk, but there's money at risk, then it's getting them the proper training. And if they're just really just not showing back up to the table or like trying, then it's like, yeah, again, it's not really going to work. But in any job that you're doing, you're going to have some type of responsibility. And whether you're able to go out there with a purchase card or a travel card or whatever it is, you're still going to be impacting the financials of the company that you're working for, because you yourself are costing them money, first
Yes.
of all. And second of all, it's like, if you're going to work slower. I remember like when I was like 16 years old or something, I was looking for a job quickly because I really wanted to get a new Acura for my first car. And I was like, fine. My parents were like, go find a place that you can go work. I found a factory, and I was making two different things. I was making eyes for the Vermont teddy bears, and I was making kits for Zany Brady on an assembly line at like 16. And I was
Zany
making
Brainy, yes. That
yeah.
was like my favorite store.
Yeah, so I was making
I
really
love
good
the
money.
oily stickers they sold there.
Yes, but like there was some people that were so slow on the assembly line or doing the eyes with the pad printers, but like we figured out quickly who should be the lead and who should be running everything. And that's how the leaders, depending on how you actually show up each and every day, that's going to determine who is going to be a leader, who's going to be a manager, or who's going to be the service associate. So I just think that you're going to get the proper classification based upon your actions, and that's going to be that should balance out to your responsibilities based upon whatever your title is. But
I
that's
mean,
that's
so I own my company, but I single mom. Like, this is my money that I'm out there getting these leads. They doing the hard work. So I mean, it's different types of hard work, but it's still my money. And so, I like to really identify the guys who work for me, and most of them are subcontractors, so that's fine. But I want to see their skill level. So, if we are redoing a kitchen, and we are putting together like a cabinetry, like hanging area, in the garage, whatever. So I do painting, and I'm not gonna send my like lowest level guys out there. Like, they can take the knobs off, but no.
Nah,
So you kind of like learn their skill level, and you're like, okay.
I had the same type of business before in the past, and I remember going into some of the places where I would pretend like I didn't speak Spanish, and one of my workers was in there. He was laughing because they only did like 2 rooms, and one of them was a kitchen where there was like nothing to do in the kitchen because it was all cabinets, and they wanted to get paid all this money, and I'm like, no. And then he's laughing and joking around saying that, oh, we only did that. Oh, stupid guy's gonna believe us because he's so busy right now. So then I responded back in Spanish, and then he shut up very quickly and he went home.
I
So,
know.
but it's like things like that happen, especially when we got too big too quick, and we were working with all the local real estate agencies. But
That's what
it's
I
like,
do.
yeah, but you just
That's what
gotta
I do.
you just got to make sure you do have the right teams and the people that are not going, like, if you want to really make profit, you have to make sure that people are willing to get done the right amount of rooms per day, and then also to get back in there for the final inspections when typically the landlords are putting in blue tape everywhere they see a thing you want them to fix, and then just getting everything done, getting your check, and calling it a day. But
And I mean, my crew chiefs they are really good. They are really good, and I pay them a lot more than like the other subs. So they keep things in check for me. But sometimes we're running so many projects, it's not like I'm there to like check on what's going on. So I have to place my trust in them to run the project correctly, obviously. And it still is my company. I did it, and so they have to be respectful of doing a job. And so I always think that, and sometimes that type of job is not right for everyone, and that's okay.
yeah. And Chris, even at this level, even if someone doesn't have the purchase card, typically when you're getting new people that are working for you, or even the current people that you have, they know the game. After the job is done, they wind up taking back all the extra supplies, stealing your equipment, and then
Absolutely.
using it for other jobs too as well, and doing side jobs. So even if someone doesn't physically have the card, they can still take all your materials and take away from the profit that
Definitely.
you could have. So
Yeah,
there's a
I'm like, I use alabaster on almost all of my projects. And like some of the painters, they just took like 4 gallons of alabaster today. And I'm like, where is it? Like, I know you didn't use this. Like, I can use this on our next project. And they're like, oh, we left it with the homeowners. And I'm like, no. We're going to have a team huddle and we're going to talk about this because
Yep. Yep.
All right, well, thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone. Good
Thank you.
conversation.
Thank you so much, Keith. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much, sir, for being on tonight. We greatly appreciate you. And again, I just love this conversation, where it's going and everything, but I gotta be mindful of the time and everything. And I'm just so respectful of your time too, as well. So again, Tracy, thank you so much for joining us. Janelle, we gotta make a sticky note. We gotta give it to Louise. Make sure she has that sticky note. I believe she's gonna love this conversation.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. So, Janelle, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Lady
Thank you,
Drew, as
Chris, for
always.
inviting me.
Say that again.
I said thanks for inviting me.
No, thank you for being here. We'll have more to come soon down the road. Absolutely, we'd love to have you on board. And again, Lady Drew, thank you so much for being here too, as well. And
thank you for your event, Chris, and everyone attending. Blessed be.
all right, thank you, Lady Drew. And Joan, if you can stay on for a couple of minutes, I would like to speak with you offline. And again, thank you all so much for taking time out of your day to be with us here today. Please follow our page, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on Facebook, or also on Bringing Humanity Together on LinkedIn. We would love for you guys to follow our content and get engaged. And we will love to hear from you on all the calls that we have. So from all of us here at Bringing Humanity Together and Adaptive Strategy Group, have a great day. Make your day on this transformational Thursday. Have a great day, everyone.